Everyone needs to watch this video. Women, men, girls, especially if you're someone who is grossed out by periods. Hi soulmates, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, I'm Jules, your virtual law of attraction coach. And in this video, I'm touching on something that may be a bit controversial, especially for those that may be out of touch. But I feel it needs to be discussed because periods are so fucking powerful.
Periods are so fucking powerful.
And it's time they got their freaking flowers, okay? Well, yesterday, I actually had no idea what the heck today's video was gonna be about. And it wasn't until I found myself still awake at 3 a.m. just basking in the power of the full moon energy. And then it became clear that my video was gonna be about periods, about the moon cycle, hello. And it's mainly because I began my moon cycle yesterday on the day of the full moon. And the way I was feeling really inspired me to talk about this topic. And I'll explain more later, but it just made sense to me that this be the topic for today. Okay, whatever. First of all, I want to say that I am so fucking proud to be a fucking woman, okay? And I know I'm using a lot of fucking profanity, but that's because I'm so passionate about this. Women are so powerful, okay? Men are too. Men are incredible too, but this video is about women, okay? We are the reason humans exist, all right? Our bodies are pure fucking magic, all right? And it is a gift and a pleasure for me to be a woman. And every single month, my body goes through this divine and sacred process of preparing to bear and give more life to this planet. And I value and respect this magical process more than ever now. And I hope that after watching this video, more women and men will as well. And the second thing I want to say is for the guys out there who are squeamish about a woman's period, understand that being grossed out by something that is so natural, that is part of being a woman, literally means that you are unaccepting of a woman in her entirety, okay, in her totality, okay? And usually it is women who are also grossed out that find their periods like disgusting or annoying, that accept these men who feel the same. Honestly, I find it to be a total fucking turnoff when a guy is grossed out by the appearance of periods or even the mention of them. This is one of the things that made me fall deeper in love with my husband. We were very young when we started dating. I was 16, he was 19, and from day one, he had always embraced and celebrated my cycle. And it was so weird, honestly, because I'd never had that before. And he would even help me change tampons. I'm serious, like most guys at 19 are totally fucking grossed out by periods. And I wasn't even at a place at that time where I totally was like fully embracing of my period. But I did understand one thing, and that was that the fact that my man was that squeamish about my period was sexy as fuck. And hopefully after watching this video, both men and women can learn to appreciate the significance and power of the menstrual cycle. Now, I don't blame you. If you're squeamish, I don't blame you, okay? There's no judgment here. Although I did just say that it was a total fucking turnoff. It is a huge turnoff, but still, like, no judgment, all right? Because it's really not your fault. Religion has painted women as the original sinners, and the mark of the period was regarded as punishment for the original sin. And because of this, society views the period of a woman as something gross and something dirty and something shameful. And until we unlearn this demeaning Bible story and relearn the true significance of periods, we're not gonna embrace them for what they truly are. I began embracing my period over 10 years ago when I discovered and began using menstrual cups. Now, if you know what menstrual cups are and how they work, well then you know that you must be extremely intimate with yourself and your period in order to use them, because you have to be okay with touching yourself for one, and also be okay with coming in direct contact with your period blood. 10 years ago, when I was doing research on menstrual cups, it baffled me like how many women I would hear or will see commenting on YouTube videos about menstrual cups that found it so gross to go down there and worse, to touch your period. It's just crazy to me. As I got deeper into my spiritual journey and got more in tune with myself and my body, I started to pay attention to the subtle energies and shifts that occurred in my body. For years, I had been beating myself up for the dips in my energy at certain times, but that's because I never understood it. But as a woman, if we take time to really understand what's going on in our bodies, we can really use periods as a tool, all right? If you're going to really own and live in your full full power, the thing is you have to be accepting and loving of every single part of you. And for women, this means owning and accepting and embracing your periods. In order to step into the higher version of you, the highest iteration of you, you have to fully love all of you, all right? Now, if you don't already know what a period is, it is when a woman bleeds from her vagina as a result of her monthly reproductive cycle. Now, this varies a lot from woman to woman, but the average cycle lasts anywhere from 21 days to 32 days, and periods last from as little as 2 days to as much as 7 days, sometimes 8 to 10 days, beginning usually around the age of 12 until menopause, which happens at like 50. The cycle begins with the period, and that part never actually made sense to me, because once I learned that, I was like, wait a minute, why is it called a period then when the onset of the period is in fact the beginning of the cycle, yet a period itself marks the end of something, right? So it was like, I still ponder on that, but I still don't get it. But anyway, a woman's cycle corresponds with nature more than we know, more than we understand. We as women are literally led by the cycles of the earth. Women are meant to be tapped into the natural cycles of the planet. However, the society we live in today is so artificial and so unnatural that women have become so far removed from the natural cycles. Prior to religions taking over, women celebrated their cycles. The period was a special time and a sacred one too. When women were in tune, their cycles synchronized with the cycle of the moon, as well as the cycles of all the women, other women around them. When the women were on their periods, they will all go away to be together and perform menstruation rituals and nurture each other in what was known during indigenous times as moon lodges. Isn't that so cool? And this was their time to rest. And the men and other family members would take care of their duties because it was respected and regarded as a sacred time. Men also knew how powerful this time was and appreciated it, because when the women returned, they would come back with like prophetic messages and intuitive directive of what areas were safe to move to and camp at, and what areas were not. They also knew the direction of where food was, like buffalo and like hunting deer and stuff. The problem is our modern day society does not allow women to live naturally according to our cycles. Women can't just pause their lives when they menstruate, but that's what we're supposed to do. Even though that's what we're supposed to do, women are expected to get up every single day and perform at the same capacity no matter what, no matter where in their cycle they are. And in order to do so, our internal cycles, our innate needs have to be ignored. Women become cut off from their bodies. Awareness of the energy fluctuations, are completely gone, or they are ignored. And when they are ignored, the body will act out, and it usually does. This is really what contributes largely to why women experience unpleasant symptoms during menstruation, like heavy cramping and mood swings and headaches and all that. It is because our bodies are crying out for something and we are not giving it what it needs. So when you do get cramps, when you are bloated, ask yourself, what is my body asking for? Likely it's asking for rest, introspection, just ready to take time to really recharge and give it the attention it needs. So instead of popping a Midol or a Motrin and ignoring that need just to appease other people or to satisfy the ideals that society has set for you, take the time to give the body what it needs, especially if you are someone who's looking to become more in tune with yourself, with your spiritual side. Another thing that contributes to women being completely cut off is the use of birth control. Contraception has hugely bulldozed the cycle of a woman. Birth control has the ability to postpone or completely stop a woman's period by tricking the body to thinking that it's pregnant all the time. Imagine, as a woman, it is part of your nature to be in tune with the planet, with your body, and there's a pill or whatever that you're taking that's stopping that part of you completely. This makes it difficult to connect to your higher self, to hear your intuition, to be tapped into the universe, okay? The other thing is, women are pissing out these hormones into, by the mounds, into the water supply for everyone. I mean, there are millions and millions and millions of women taking birth control, right? So they are literally pissing it out into the water supply for everyone to drink, for men to drink, for children to drink. So men and children are also ingesting hormones that are tricking their bodies into thinking that it's pregnant all the time. Seriously, Let that sink in. A woman's cycle is affecting more than just her womb, okay? It affects more than just her reproductive system. It affects her mind. It affects her body. It affects her habits, her behavior, what she eats, how she feels, all her emotions, everything. And it's not just during that time of the month either. A woman is always in her cycle. You are in a cycle 24/7. So when you're hugely interrupting or pretty much completely eliminating one phase of the cycle, of course the entire process is gonna go haywire. That's why they say women are crazy. That's why there's this women are crazy movement. Of course the entire system is gonna go freaking bonkers, okay? Like, folks, listen. Our cycle happens in 4 seasons just like nature. We have a winter, we have a spring, we have a summer, and we have a fall season, all right? A woman will behave differently depending on the season she's in. Each season lasts about a week, and when a woman becomes more in tune with her cycle, she'll start to understand why she behaves the way she does at certain times. Once I understood this, it gave me so much clarity on myself, and I also stopped beating myself up when I had these energy dips, because now I had an understanding of why it was happening, and I started to embrace it and just let it be, instead of trying to push myself to get shit done just because shit had to get done. Rather than completely ignoring the subtle energy fluctuations in my body, I chose and I choose now to observe and comply so that my body doesn't act out with unpleasant symptoms. I've heard so many different interpretations on what season is which in a woman's cycle, but what I've come to realize is that it differs for every woman, because it's definitely different for me. So don't let anyone tell you that when you're on your period, oh, you're in your fall season, oh, you're in your spring season, which tends to be very popular. Like people say when you're on your period, it's fall or spring. But the thing is, your own body has to tell you that. It's not up to research. It's not up to a book or some expert. You are the expert of your own body. You have to let your body tell you what season you're in. Only you can know what season you're in. So start tuning into your body and observe the subtle energy changes week to week. After learning about the phases and observing my own behavior, me personally, my period is my winter. When I have my period, I'm recluse. I want to stay home. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay in bed. I don't want to do shit. I don't want to do cleaning. I don't want to do yoga. I don't want to jump rope. I want to rest. I want to stay horizontal. I don't want to be vertical at any point. Like, I just want to focus on going inward all the time. I'm a lot more intuitive during this time, and I meditate a heck of a lot more. But when my period ends, that's spring for me. It's the week before ovulation, and I just want to get up and clean. I want to clean my entire house. I want to catch up on all the cleaning that I didn't do in my winter. I feel a lot more refreshed. I get the urge to cleanse internally, so I tend to fast during this time as well. A lot of self-care happens during this week. Purging also happens a lot during this week. I find myself easily getting rid of things I don't need during this time. Like other times of my cycle, I'll have things around the house like I don't know if I should get rid of, but during that time, there's no question. It's like if I even question about keeping it, it's gone. Okay, so yeah, that's my spring. It's spring cleaning almost. When I'm ovulating, that's my summer. I want to go out. I want to be seen. I'm feeling myself on a whole nother level. Okay. All right. I do my makeup almost every single day during this week. Even if I'm not going anywhere, I play a lot of music and I dance a lot during this week as well. I'm also a lot more sexual and animalistic during this week. And then comes my fall, the week before my period comes. And this week is very up and down. I'm kind of all over the place. There's sometimes a lot of confusion. Like I want to do things, but then I don't want to do things. I'm just really going through the vibes, going through the motions, and I'm just allowing it. I'm just allowing myself to go through them without any judgment, without any push, no force, just letting myself be, right? So yeah, you really have to tune in and find your own seasons. Find out where you stand during the times of the month, because like I said, you're always in your cycle. There's no time when a woman is not in her cycle. So your cycle is every 4 weeks. Now it changes obviously throughout the year, but that's based on like your hormones, your diet. It's so many things can affect your cycle very easily. So you really have to get in tune with your body and see how things affect affect your body, certain activities, certain foods, certain people, certain energies. So you really, really, really have to tune in and get reacquainted with your cycle. If people understood how powerful period blood itself is, they'd be so amazed. I'm a breastfeeding mama, and I always refer to my breast milk as liquid gold, as most of us do. If you're a breastfeeding mama, you likely did as well. Well, believe it or not, period blood is just as precious, okay? And in ancient civilizations, it was actually regarded as such. It was used for healing, it was used to treat wounds, revive things. It was even ingested for healing, okay? Menstrual blood was respected, and it was never disposed of as carelessly as it is now. It was honored, and it was returned to the earth ceremoniously by the women. It was used to feed soil. It was used to heal dying plants. The blood that is shed during a woman's period contains stem cells and tremendous amounts of nutrients that would greatly benefit society today if we weren't so freaking busy looking at it so damn shamefully. And it's really up to us women, us spiritual women, all women really, to pioneer a movement of reviving period blood back to its glory, okay? And you can do this by creating a sacred practice for yourself for that time of month. In addition to giving your body whatever it's asking for during the seasons of your cycle, find a way, develop a way, your own way of honoring your period somehow. It doesn't have to be as extravagant and ceremonious, but it can be if you want it to be. It could be more creative and fun too. Some women embrace their periods by doing yoni paintings, which I think are so cool. I really want to do one. It's when you create a painting using your period blood. I want to try it so bad, and I'm sure I will soon because I already have my canvas and everything, so I really need to try that soon. When women are on their period, it's a time to reflect. It's a time for reflection. It's time to retreat and go inward. Therefore, meditations at this time can be so much deeper and so much more powerful. So you can also create a sacred meditation that you do only when you're on your period to honor it during this precious time. I do that on my cycle, so that is another way that you can honor your period. Also, you can spend time with the moon during your period to rebuild that connection that has been severed for thousands of years. If you can, spend some time outside with the moon during your period. Doing so often enough will reset your cycle back to synchronizing with the moon, which will improve your energies overall. As I mentioned before, I use menstrual cups. I've been using them for over 10 years, and that process really has created such a strong bond and appreciation with my period blood. But another one of my favorite ways to honor my period is with an accessory. I have a special piece of jewelry that I wear only when I'm on my period. It's sacred, it's special to me, and no one else knows. No one needs to know because it's sacred. It's a sacred practice. If anyone notices it and asks, I don't care, and I'll share it, but no one needs to know, right? I put it on the first day of my period, and I take it off only when my period stops. I chose a color that to me represents like my femininity, my softness, my yoni, just like the delicacy and yumminess and tranquility of all the sacredness of that time. So if you go with this method, be sure to choose a special piece or a color that truly represents you in your wholeness, all right? It doesn't even have to be jewelry. It could be any other kind of accessory. It can be a piece of clothing. It can be a scarf. You can use like earth crystals as well that are known to support menstruation, and these are usually the red colored stones. I have found that my periods have become a lot more pleasant now that I have fully embraced it. I found that in doing so also, it has heightened my ability to hear my intuition a whole lot more. Listen, I don't find it fun to be bleeding, all right? I don't find it fun to be freaking bloated, all right? For 4 to 5 days out of the month. However, it is said that a woman will bleed an average of 10 years in the course of her life. 10 years, folks. And although, yeah, it may not be fun to be bleeding for 10 years of your life, I refuse to spend the 10 years of my existence here feeling shame, feeling dirty, and feeling disgusted, all right? That's 10 years of self-torture, and it is self-torture because we're doing it to ourselves. No, thank you. I would rather, and I choose to embrace and celebrate it. And I suggest you do as well, all right? So yeah, that's my share on periods today. I really hope this video inspires more women to embrace their periods and more men to give the respect and glory that periods truly deserve. Or I hope it at least opened up some minds out there a little bit, all right? And if it did, give this video a thumbs up. Also, share this with anyone who you think will appreciate hearing this message. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more videos to enlighten you about more things like periods. all right? And don't forget to hit the notification bell because this year I am dedicated to making videos every week to inspire you to live in your power and create a life of limitless abundance. All right, thank you again for sharing your energy with me in another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.